Our stalwart canvassing team finds themselves in almost rural Butler County. This could be a tough crowd here, but our canvassers are out here to connect with people. These canvassers are working for 2 Democratic candidates in a special election, but their walk list is nearly all Republicans. That's because even if every Democrat in their district voted for their candidates, it still wouldn't be enough to get them elected. They need Republican votes in order to win. Let's listen in on what happens.
Oh, our walk list here is practically all Republican, Joni. It's going to be a challenge.
I'll get it, Edith.
This is Mr. Franklin. Hello, Mr. Franklin.
Yes, that's me. Who's asking?
My name is Linda, and this is my friend Joan, and we're volunteering today for 2 candidates in the special election next month, one for state Senate and one for state House. Have you heard about the special election?
No. Why is there a special election?
Well, there's a special election for state Senate because our current senator has decided to retire, and in fact, he's resigning a few months ahead of the end of his term. And there's a special election for state House because our current representative has suddenly resigned.
Is he the one that was accused of sexual harassment?
Yep, that's the one. And a young man named George Knightley is running to take his place.
Who's here?
Now, George, I'm here explaining about the special election next month. It's nice to meet you. So George Knightley is running for state representative, and he's a Butler resident. He's lived in this area all his life. He's a steel worker, and in fact, he works for AK Steel right down the road.
Is he a Democrat or a Republican?
Well, he's a Democrat, and he's a Democrat who reflects our local Butler County values. George is pro-life. He loves to hunt, and he strongly supports upholding Second Amendment rights. He's also a union man, so he fully understands the needs of working people and will represent those needs and those interests in Harrisburg.
And who's running for state Senate?
Well, Joni and I are volunteering for a woman named Elizabeth Bennett. She is from Brighton Township, so she's a rural girl who has a rural upbringing and very much reflects those values. And she wants to especially advocate in Harrisburg for the needs of rural voters. For example, greater broadband internet access, which is a real problem in rural areas. And also more effort, more attention to addressing the opioid crisis in the rural areas. She's also a strong supporter of Second Amendment rights, and in fact, she was a member of her high school rifle team.
And is she a Democrat or a Republican?
Yes, again, she's a Democrat, but her values and her policy positions are strongly in support of the farmers and the working people of Western Pennsylvania.
Well, let me tell you something. I voted for Trump in 2016, and that was a big mistake. I'm not making that mistake again, and I'm very interested in your candidates.
Well, I'm so glad to hear that. May I give you some literature about them? And I'm wondering if there are any questions about them that I could address for you right now.
Well, how old is this George Knightley?
Well, he is a young man. He's only 28 years old. This is his first time running for office. He's very energetic and enthusiastic. I think he'll do a great job for us.
Well, I think that's great. I think more young people need to be running for office. It's their future that's at stake.
I couldn't agree with you more. I have kids that are about his age, and it's time for them to be better represented in Harrisburg.
Well, you can count on my vote for these 2 candidates.
You've got my vote too. I think that part about the broadband is really important where we live.
Yeah, that's a real problem, isn't it?
Yes.
Yes.
And thank you for volunteering and bringing this to our attention about this special election.
Well, thank you both so much for meeting with us and talking with us today. We hope to see you at the polls on May the 7th is the date of the election.
May the 7th.
Okay.
May the 7th.
Bye now.
Thank you again very much.
I'll go ahead and mark these people number one for enthusiastic support for Elizabeth and George.
Sounds good, Joan. Wasn't that great, huh?
That's great. Yeah.
What a surprise that was. But let's see what happens if the voter feels a little differently. We'll pick up where the voter asks that sticky question.
And is she a Democrat or a Republican?
Well, she's a Democrat, and like George, her values and policy positions reflect the needs and the interests of farmers and working people in Western Pennsylvania.
Well, let me tell you something. I always vote a straight Republican ticket, so I'm not interested in your candidates.
Well, could I leave this information about them with you so you can look them up on the internet?
No thanks. No thanks.
Okay, all right. Well, we thank you for talking to us today and taking the time to hear about it, and have a great day.
Bye now.
Bye now.
That's too bad. We have to go ahead and mark them as a 5, strongly against our candidate.
Yeah, that's too bad.